Hello, Zoheb. Zoheb, did I pronounce that right, or is it differently?
Zoheb.
Zoheb. Okay, so please give an introduction about yourself.
So I'm 15 and I joined the real world when I was around 14,
Mhm,
yeah. And I've made £2,400
mhm.
so far from content creation and AI.
Okay, interesting. Is that the first campus you joined, CC and AI?
Well, in the real world, yes, but I started quite a while before I joined the real world. So I've actually been doing this since I was 11.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I started it because, well, to be honest, I used to play games, right? And I found out that video editing was a way to make money. So
Mhm.
sometimes I had this Discord server where I could find clients and get a bit of odd money here and there. So I would video edit as a one-off thing. And at the time when I was 11, I didn't really realize the true potential of video editing, but I made some money here and there. And since then, I started seriously video editing when I was around 14 after all of this went viral and I found out about Hustlers University, the real world.
Mhm.
And I joined about 1 month ago, 2 months ago, and I've made 2,400 from there.
How much were you making prior then, when you're saying you were doing one-off video edits or whatever services you were offering? Roughly, like, what were you averaging back then?
It was a span of in the span of 5 years from 11 to, no, in the span of 3 years from 11 to 14, it was around 500 because
Ah, so
I
quite
was
a
just doing
significant
it.
increase after joining.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. And what made you choose the content creation and AI campus out of all the other campuses that were available?
Well, obviously, it doesn't really have any initial investment. All you need is a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. So I actually used DaVinci Resolve as free as well. So it didn't require me to do anything.
Mhm.
Before I tried copywriting as well, but then ChatGPT came out and I thought, I know that AI maybe can't replace copywriters right now, but I think it's not future-proof and maybe soon copywriting won't be a good idea. So then I switched to video editing and I had a lot more success.
Okay. And when you say content creation and AI, then that was purely through video editing that you made money, or did you actually do some kind of UGC videos or something similar?
No, just video editing. I didn't do
Okay.
thumbnails or anything else.
And was that through the white path, or were there other courses as well for video editing?
Yeah, I used the white path and then later on I started using the gold path. I found out about tools such as Kaba AI and I implemented these AI tools within my video editing, sort of like B-roll clips.
Right, right, right. And those make your clips stand out, right? Because it's something fresh
Yeah, I
for
think
people.
it's much more engaging
Mhm.
and right now the attention span of the world I'd say is really short. So when creating short form content, you have to change the audio visuals every 3 seconds, I think.
Mhm.
So that's where AI comes in. You can
Right.
add in B-roll.
Okay, very cool. And what was the process like for acquiring your clients to actually get the £2,400?
Yeah, I followed PCB within after I think a week of joining, and I found out about outreach tools like Apollo.io, and yeah, so I emailed a lot more, and I was sending out DMs on Instagram every day to local businesses, and I actually found a client through Instagram. They were builders, and that's how it worked out.
Builders, and was that the only client you've landed? And you ended up getting all that money from them, or did you land others as well?
No, no, that was my most significant.
Mhm.
I also came in contact with, he was a CEO of some NFT startup, and I ended up working with him on it because he was a friend of a friend. So through networking, that's where I made a bit of money there as well.
Good. So you
But
said
mainly,
builders being the most significant. How comes they? wanted your service? Like, what was your pitch? What was the process like? Did you get on a sales call with them?
Yeah, so what happened is that I was sending around 30 DMs a day on Instagram to potential clients, and I had this lead list on Google Sheets, and I would mark done or not done. And then this person was interested because they were actually looking for advertising for their building business,
Hmm.
and that's how I got into contact with them. So I proposed to create them shorts and automate their TikTok page, and at first he seemed reluctant, but then we went on a sales call and I talked him through it, and he wanted a demo. And then after around 2 weeks, he was happy with the service that I initially gave him, and then we proceeded.
Good. So quite a bit of upfront free work, providing value, showing what you're capable of, and then you actually
Yeah,
got money for it.
yeah.
And how much were you charging for what you were offering?
I made 6 shorts for him, and he gave me most of my money, 2 grand.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think that's probably because he's a company, right? And he has a lot of money already.
Mhm.
If I contacted an individual, they probably wouldn't pay as much. But I also had to give him a lot of free work initially because he asked for a demo, he had to go in a sales school and everything.
Right.
So the process initially was quite difficult, but in the end, it all paid off.
Right. I guess you saw how capable you were and how well of a job you did, so maybe you even paid extra than you should have because of that.
Yeah, I'm
Mm,
not
yeah.
sure.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But that's super cool. Congratulations on 2,000 for six
Thank you.
videos. Very significant, especially at 15. You would have turned 15 recently then, if you said you made that
Yeah,
at 14?
yeah, I turned 15 on 30th October this year,
Ah,
just a few days
happy
ago.
birthday. Less than a week ago.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and how different is your average day now then compared to before you joined the real world? Any differences there?
Yeah, so before I wasn't really doing it consistently, so I made around 503 years from 11 to 14. I was editing as a one-off thing, maybe once every 3 months, 3 or 4 months. And now, after contacting around 30 people a day, and initially I didn't have much success, but I built up my portfolio and I'm making much more than before.
Hmm. Good. Okay. But that's in terms of money and video editing. What about any other changes in just day to day life and what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to balance it with school at the moment because it's kind of I have my GCSEs coming up as well,
Mhm.
and I'm video editing as well. And before I had more concentration in school, but now I'm trying to balance it out and figure out how I can do both at once.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And there are lessons in the real world about time management from Pope, one of the professor of the content creation campus. So I've been trying to keep up with those and manage my time better.
Mhm. And how has that helped in terms of time management?
Before I used to play a lot of games, and now I've cut that out and try to become more focused because if I'm gonna do both at the same time, I have to cut out the distractions, right?
Mhm.
So I've just tried to focus more on just work and video editing and then sleep. That's it.
Fair enough. And what would you say to people then who call that excessive and they're saying at 14, at 15, should be relaxing and doing what other 14 and 15-year-olds are doing? So, yeah, what would you say to them? Why are you as you are with your current mindset?
I think it's because, well, my parents are both doctors and they make decent money, but I think that if you want to make more than that, or if you want to become really successful, working a traditional job isn't going to get you that. So if you start early, maybe by the time I'm 19 or 20, I'll be much more successful.
Mhm.
So what's the point of starting later just because of my age? Because video editing, anyone can do it. It's just a skill that you have to learn. And if I start now, it's only going to be beneficial.
Okay, fair enough. And what do your parents actually think about what you're doing? Do they know that you've made £2,400 in the past like month or 2 months?
Yeah, and I've mainly got support from my dad because he seems quite happy about it. That I'm becoming more independent and um, making my own money, business ventures.
Hmm.
But they say that I probably should go down a more traditional route and get a degree as a backup. So
Hmm.
in case this fails, then I'll have another option.
Okay. Which is fair enough because your parents care about you, so they want the best for you. Maybe they don't understand fully what you're doing, so it's normal for them to say that. Okay. And where do you see this heading for you then in future, in the short term, medium term, and long term?
I think I'll carry on doing it, but soon I might have to take a break for exams, maybe A level, so I can get that degree. But when I'm older and I have more freedom and I have a degree to fall back on, then I think it would be a good time then to continue my video editing. And by then, a lot of things would have changed. I think AI would have advanced quite a bit as well. And at that time, I would try and learn all the new things and carry on from here.
Hmm. Okay. And where was your life actually heading before you joined the real world? What plans did you have, and how has that changed?
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Well, I was thinking I might just be a doctor because both my parents are, and that's what they've encouraged me to do from a very young age. So currently, I'm going to quite a good school in the UK. I think it's top 10
Hmm.
secondary schools, and I was probably getting all nines and going to university, then getting traditional job, being a doctor, and then working
Hmm.
until I'm 60 or 70 or something. I don't know about now though.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Like you see other opportunities in front of you now,
Yeah.
not just the one. And what kind of an impact has Tate had on you then?
Um. So after he went viral, I think that's how I found out about the real world initially on YouTube, TikTok, and I think that helped. Tate's virality helped quite a lot because that's what made me aware that this could actually make me money. Initially, when I was doing it at 11, I didn't realize the potential of video editing, but after Tate launched Hustlers University and these campuses, he was spreading awareness about what you can really do to make money online. And
Mhm.
before, I didn't know that you could make so much online.
Or, so yeah, again, open your eyes to new opportunities. Very cool. And what would you say as a I have two more questions. So the penultimate question is what would you say for the biggest challenge you faced when you're actually implementing lessons from the real world?
I think it's just time. If I had more time, I think I'd be able to spend more time on video editing and um following the lessons more closely. But I have between around 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. to do what I want, and I have to do homeworks, revise for exams, and then try and put video editing in that as well. So
Mhm.
I think I could probably follow the lessons much more closely and made much more progress in those 3 years from 11 to 14 if I was doing video editing for maybe 2 hours a day instead of 2 hours a month.
Right, fair enough. And just to clarify earlier, when you said you were your plan was to just get nines and then become doctor. Just for everyone else, I know the UK grading system has changed fairly recently. How many years has it been? Maybe 5 years ago, to be fair. And now nine is the highest grade you can get. Correct? It goes from nine to
Yeah.
one, with nine being the highest. Okay, just clarifying. And yeah, to wrap everything up, then for people who are unsure about joining the real world because maybe they think it could be a scam for the $50, what advice would you have to them?
I think we should just try it first. That's what I initially did. I would have probably joined the real world much earlier if I had enough money, but I saved up from my video editing after a lot of demos, failed attempts, and even scams where I would make the video and they wouldn't even pay me in the end.
Ah,
I Yeah, I had enough money and then I joined, and I think it's just £50 and it could change my life. I got 2.7 grand from that,
mhm,
and $50 isn't much if you have chance to make even 100,000. Some people are making,
mhm,
so they should go for it.
exactly. Okay. And on a finishing note, it is very interesting how well you articulate yourself, especially at your age. I don't think I heard one filler word throughout the thing, or an or an ah. So that's really cool to hear. Is that
Thank
something
you.
you intentionally have practiced, or is it just the environment around you that allows you to be
I
as
do
happy?
public. I do public speaking.
Ah,
It's called Lambda,
mhm,
and it's like exams. So I've recently done my grade 6.
mhm,
It's sort of a course which you do for public speaking, which helps you,
right,
which a lot of people in my school do because it gives you points for your university application, basically.
fair enough. And it's just you present yourself as a more intelligent individual by actually articulating clearly and concisely. So fair enough. All right, thank you for coming on and sharing your story, Serhab. Again, did I say that right?
Yeah,
All right. And let's do a follow up at some point in future. I know you said, you have exams though coming up, and maybe you'll pause on the video editing. So let me know if you're still doing it, and if you have more wins to share in future, we can do a follow up to track your progress and document everything. And if you'll come back to this in a few years, who knows? Maybe I'm still doing it, videos and interviews, so we can do it then as well. But yeah,
yeah.
I appreciate you sharing your experience, and I wish you all the best for future.
Thank you.